Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here. Thank you for inviting me. And because we are at a week intensive data focused workshop, I will not go into the benefits of digitalization and data intensive industry and society because the topic is extensively addressed by other speakers and presentations. Instead, I will challenge you, as I was also challenged some time ago, with the security aspects relating to the intensive data world that we are now living in. As Michaela mentioned, I come from a background of intensely working with data, especially research data. I also have experience in the corporate world some time back. But seeing the amount of key information that we share online, either coming from our daily habits or from research activities or from what government asks of us to share online, I was drawn into the topic of how can we protect then our data, not only reactively but also proactively, and what kind of risk profiles then do we see emerging within different parts of the world. And this also comes from noticing what research funders, such as the European Commission, asks of researchers to address regarding safety and security measures when handling research data that could be sensitive in research projects. So that's just to give you an overview of how I came to address this topic. Digitalization indeed has many advantages, but in today's address, I want to bridge two key topics: sovereignty and security relating to digitalization, as they are paramount in establishing what the EU calls its open strategic autonomy. And in building my argument for today, I will address three key areas. The first one is digitalization trends, key enabling technologies, and artificial intelligence as part of key enabling technologies, because these relate to strategic autonomy. My presentation has no text, so don't get distracted by the slides. My view is that in this digital decade, digitalization can be a double-edged sword. Of course, it offers many advantages, but it can potentially also become a risk to us as individuals and to society as a whole. Digital processes are at the nerve center of our society, and at the moment require continuous reinforcement for uninterrupting functioning. Digitalization makes systems more interconnected, and because of this connectivity, vital and non-vital processes are more susceptible to threats, and cyber threats in particular. So not only should we look at risks in their individuality, but also when combining different digitalization sources and combining risks, new risks emerge that have to be addressed. And these can then become an attractive target for actors wanting to disturb certain systems or certain societies. And therefore, while building this digital strategic autonomy, we should also look at what is called digital resilience. We want to improve digital skills of people, and we want to also build up this digital resilient plans, which at EU level is taken up in different ways in different member states. One important element in my perspective is that resilience plans should also include analog resilience plans, because if technology fails, then we have to go on even in emergency settings with society. So these analog alternatives should also be a part of digital resilience plans. Also, what I find interesting is this trend towards digitalization can also be interpreted as forced digitalization. It's very hard actually in today's world not to be digitalized. You are forced to be digital because otherwise you can't function in the modern society. And this is something not very in line with democratic values, I would say. If you are not digital, you are excluded by the system, basically. Digitalization is not just about volumes of data within a certain sector or within a certain country. And I am fascinated by these trends, let's say, in digitalization and what drives digitalization in certain states. Why is there such a difference between member states, for example, in the EU on digitalization levels? So it's not just about volume of data, it's about the infrastructure, it's about the skills that people have, and about the legislation or the legal frameworks that are more or less mature in a certain country. So these are composite measures of digitalization, and there are different instruments addressing those. One such example is the World Digital Competitiveness Ranking, where the Netherlands, where I work and live, is second worldwide. And this ranking, for example, looks at three main factors: knowledge, technology, and future readiness. And because we are in Sweden, I looked at this comparison between Sweden and the Netherlands, as I said, because I am interested in what stimulates uptaking of digital solutions in certain contexts. And of course, trends change following either legislative changes or technological developments, and so on. And I found that researchers in Sweden claim digitalization is high, but on the other hand, people are not that openly sharing their private data, not as much as in other EU countries. So we do have open platforms offering digital solutions, but people are not as willing to share openly, for example, their health data or personal data. And this is in a research report of RISE researchers. In order to then build this digital resilience, but also digital uptake, there needs to be trust in the digital solutions provided, and trust in the entities behind the digital solutions that are provided. So this actually reflects on a trust ecosystem that has to be in place. First, I need to trust the technology, but I also need to trust the intentions of the deployer of that technology. And this can be either a private company or it can be a public institution. Legal frameworks are then either an enabler or a hindering factor of digitalization. And they are part of this composite methodology for determining digitalization levels. And there are pros and cons regarding maturity of legal frameworks for encouraging digitalization or regulating technologies. And some parts of the world are more focused on regulating technology, as is the EU, and some are more market-oriented and would rather give more freedom to the private sector to adapt and compete, let's say, in stimulating or driving technological development further. And for this, we will see when addressing AI regulating frameworks that the EU has a lead role in establishing legal frameworks for regulating technology, which again, we can debate if it's an advantage or a disadvantage. We hear a lot very often these expressions. We now live in the platform society. We have city as a platform. And in these constructions, we also either visibly see or at least experience this constant tug of war, let's say, between privacy and safety. While living in the digital world, we are interconnected, but we also do give up on our privacy. And this is in the name of sometimes security reasons. For example, digitalization takes place in the critical infrastructure, in health, energy, communication sectors, and in the public space. New dedicated European data spaces are now being developed, such as the European Health Data Space, European Security Data Space for law enforcement, the European Open Science Cloud for research data. And in these platforms, we use big data sets to improve intelligence of taking certain decisions. In the public space, we see technology being deployed for security reasons. For example, smart cameras that can manage crowd control using AI or face recognition technologies and so on. And these technologies then have an impact on our privacy. And if we investigate stakeholders within this ecosystem on what is paramount when deciding to to deploy a technology or not, we will see that different stakeholders have different answers to these questions. Some say we should not deploy smart cameras in the public space if it is at the cost of our privacy. And some say exactly the opposite. Security and sense of being safe in the public space is paramount, and that's why we should have these technologies there. Another risk that comes from this is also the fact that when looking at aggregated data or at volumes of data, new risks arise based on this sheer volume of data that could be accessed, and based on which we can draw conclusions at population level for certain purposes. And because these digitalization efforts accelerate, countries increasingly rely on infrastructure to provide digital service to their population. And in these discussions or debates then, there came the topic of sovereignty. In what measure are we then dependent on certain commercial providers? How much power do we give to these commercial providers? How much power do we want to maintain, and how can we do that if we want to? So it's not just a matter of desire, it's also a matter of ability to keep that sovereignty. And cloud sovereignty is a very debated topic. People feel very strongly about it, either are very pro data sovereignty or cloud sovereignty, or say this is just dream on. It's not feasible in this interconnected world that we are living in. But at least at policy level within the EU, it is part of the agenda, and there are plans to work towards building up this cloud data and technological sovereignty, especially because of the dynamics of the geopolitics that we are now living in. So technological sovereignty or autonomy and digital sovereignty or autonomy, what do these mean? A dependency on these commercial providers can touch upon the digital sovereignty in different ways, such as undesired access to data, influence on the way algorithms work, or vendor lockings. For example, if we can't choose anymore to exit a certain provider in 2-5 years from now, what is then the power that that provider has over us and our data? This is not in the presentation, but I just it came to my mind an example of what power means for a commercial provider. There was this case some while back when there was a defamation campaign against Michelle Obama. And pictures of her were manipulated so that the face of a monkey was associated with her name in pictures that you could find on the Google engine. And because of this defamation campaign, Google was notified of it, and they went in and cleaned up those results. And then there was the terrorist attack of Brezhnev that killed students on an island in a terrorist attack after bombing two government buildings in the capital. And at that time, there was after the event, when he was trialed, there was a defamation campaign against him, where people were asked go on the street and take pictures of dog poop and post that picture online with the tag Brezhnev, so that we let terrorists know what the face of a terrorist look like. And this again was seen by some as a defamation campaign or manipulation campaign. And Google again was asked clean up those results because they are not accurate. They don't reflect reality. And Google decided not to clean up those results. That is an example of what power is. What do you let people know this is true and this is not true? This is the kind of power that we do give digital commercial providers, whether we acknowledge that or we don't. So coming back to the topic of today's presentation, indeed, this is a very cloud sovereignty, data sovereignty is a very political debate at the moment, because it's also about power and it's also about money. Technological sovereignty, if we are to give some definitions, refers to the state's ability to develop and maintain advanced technological capabilities without relying on external sources. And more technological sovereignty implies less dependency on technology infrastructure from foreign powers. This includes choice or ability to choose between cloud providers or between vendor-neutral platforms. Digital sovereignty then refers to the state's ability to make decisions and assert control over digital activities, being capable of providing digital services and protecting the citizens, the rights of citizens in the digital realm. If we look at uptake of cloud services and later of AI services, of course, these are upward trends. And in the private sector superseded the public sector in uptake of cloud solutions. But as governments also move towards cloud solutions, the matter of cloud and technological sovereignty becomes even more paramount. Because also governments are custodians of citizens' data. As I said before, we often cannot choose to give the data to the government. We have to do it for identification purposes, for tax purposes, for social security purposes. So then the government becomes custodian of this data and also has the obligation to protect it. And this is where also the cloud sovereignty, data sovereignty comes into play as a political topic. When we moved to 5G, there was also a discussion on the reliability of or dependability of the infrastructure on certain certain providers, and now the discussion is repeated for cloud providers. And there were discussion on excluding certain companies from being providers of 5G technology at the time. So this can be, this promotion, let's say, can be done through protect and promote measures. On the one side, you have protect measures, certification schemes, and on the other side, you can have promote measures, investing in your own or in the internal market of solution providers, so that you do build up these alternatives to big tech providers. At the moment, if we look at cloud service providers operating in the EU, the big three providers, Google, Amazon, and Microsoft, have a combined market share of 70%. And they do offer advantages that are hard to be beaten. Even if there are European alternatives to them, most European providers only offer segmented services. They don't offer this one-stop shop solution that the big three tech providers offer. So it's also a difficult competition to keep up with. But again, as more government data is moving towards the cloud, for example, in the Netherlands, there is a discussion on moving Outlook to the cloud, and that meaning possibly giving government data access to cloud providers. Also, there is no EU-level agreement at member state level between how this sovereignty should be implemented, because again, interests are different. There is a different understanding, for example, between the Netherlands and France on the way, on the meaning of cloud sovereignty, as these interests are also connected with national and economic security interests. And as such, they are regulated differently at member state level, depending on the priorities that each member state has set at national level for their own national and economic security. Artificial intelligence is again an upward trend, especially in the private sector, but more and more also in the public sector. And I'm proud to say that Netherlands is first in the global index on responsible AI that looks into the legislative and ethical frameworks of development and deployment of AI within sectors. And as I said, this can be a stimulant, but it can also be a drawback, because we focus a lot on regulation within the EU, and that is sometimes a stove shopper for parties that would want to enter the EU market, but are discouraged in doing so because of these high standards. And I will give you an example of this later on. Also, this trustworthy AI that we heard about also earlier is a fascinating understanding concept. How do you conceptualize trustworthy and ethical AI in a world that doesn't share the same meaning of trust and ethics? For example, there was the Seoul summit earlier this month on responsible AI in the military use, and there China decided not to sign, or decided to opt out of signing the agreement, while other allied states decided to sign the agreement on what ethical AI in the military means. So it's again is an example of our different understanding of responsible and ethical technology development and deployment. The European approach to artificial intelligence is explicitly focused on trustworthy AI. So we will see in also in the AI Act, but also in the policy package accompanying it, explicitly being mentioned, we want to do AI the European way. And this is operationalized differently within the policies and the different measures in place to stimulate the internal market for AI. Last week, the Commission also launched the AI Factories program, again stimulating the private sector within the EU to develop own AI solutions, putting this human-centric approach at the center of the philosophy, again through these promote and protect measures. So protect externally and promote internally in this double kind of approach. Regulatory frameworks are then protection frameworks. If you set up standards that external parties have to comply in order to enter the internal market. But as I said, regulatory frameworks are often lagging behind technological development. We always play catch up with technology in the way we regulate that technology. Companies move much faster than legislation moves. So because of this regulatory uncertainty, certain parties are discouraged for entering at a certain point the European market. And this is the case of Apple announcing that this year they won't launch its new AI intelligence function in the EU because of this regulatory uncertainty, they say. And this decision was also interpreted by some as being a leverage strategy with the Commission, because users do want, so European users do want and do ask for this new function, but in this struggle for market penetration, let's say, regulation can be a hindering factor or a stop factor, and then there is power play between the Commission and commercial parties wanting to enter the European market. And this is not necessarily because of the AI Act, but more because of the Digital Markets Act within Europe. And Europe has been so far much more protective of its data and of the personal data of its citizens than other parts of the world. Technology can be a benefit, can be a solution to many problems, but because of its uncertainty, especially when it comes to AI and to this famous black box effect, or what in the military is called double black box effect, people also start to perceive it more and more as a threat. If we look, for example, at the risk chart as perceived in the G7 countries, we see that AI has the highest uptake in risk positions, climbing 8 positions between 2021 and 2023. And also cyber attacks gained positions in people's perceptions of risks. So there is also an alignment of technology development with risk perception within populations. The last part, the third part of my presentation today addresses key enabling technologies. I am not sure how I am doing on time. Okay. Yeah. So we have the Australian Strategic Policy Institute Critical Technology Tracker looking at trends on key technologies that can stimulate growth and indicate potential future technological capabilities. And in this tracker, we see that China now has 57 of 64 critical technologies as lead country. That gives us an idea of the technological development globally and where the EU now positions itself. This also, of course, because many of these technologies can have dual potential, also has an impact on defense or military capabilities. And again, coming back to ethical use of technology in conflict, again, we don't agree with each other on what that ethical use of technology means. These lead positions also indicate a technological monopole or potential monopole on a certain technology. And then there is the question, if such a monopoly arises, how can it be used as negotiation mechanisms in different scenarios. And this feeds more into the argument of the need for technological sovereignty in order to remain independent. And for this, investments, of course, are needed, not just in the programs stimulating AI, but also in programs stimulating other key enabling technologies. Having a strategic position then in the technological field doesn't come with risks if we are always at the forefront of technological development. We also become very attractive for threat actors wanting to peer into that technological development. So it is then a double responsibility of lead countries in a certain technological field of one, to stimulate growth and be an example for the others in your field, but also to be able to defend that advantage towards threat actors. Okay, I'm not going to go into this. Just to conclude then, digitalization of society creates many interdependencies that are sometimes difficult to identify. With these increasingly interrelated digital and physical processes, consequences of disruption can be high. So we have to have these digital resilience plans in place, but also analog resilience plans in place. And as I find, Sweden, for example, has a very developed culture, mature culture for societal resilience or whole of society kind of approach to preparing for these situations that others can benefit from. So thank you very much for your attention.